Welcome to Wealth Chance Podcast. I'm your host, Julius Hammond. I'm here with another fire interview and another fire guest. But before I get started, I want you guys to hit that like button, subscribe button, and comment on the video because this guy right here is phenomenal, okay? He's a good friend of mine, and he's well known. He's a spiritual leader. He's a pastor. He's a husband and a father. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Pastor Tim Storey to Wealth Chance Podcast. How you doing, Pastor Tim Storey?
I'm doing good. I like the name of your show, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And it's a privilege to be on with you today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And vice versa. Thank you for being on. So a lot of people know who you are. Like I said in my intro, you are a spiritual leader. You're a pastor of a well-known church congregational family out here in Yorba Linda, California, where I actually met you back in 2016. You had a good friend of yours. I'm going to assume Terrell Owens, a former wide receiver for the NFL, and I just loved your story and I love what you were about. So, but for the ones who don't know who you are, what's the story behind Tim Storey?
So the story behind Tim Storey is just a guy that was raised in Los Angeles, started in Compton, California, was taken to church as a kid, loved the things of God, loved the wisdom of God. And my junior year of high school, I decided that I wanted to do humanitarian work. So I went to seminary and then kept going to seminary, ended up getting a doctorate in world religion. And I've traveled the world speaking and helping people to 78 countries of the world. Mm-hmm. So I'm a person like a Nelson Mandela who just likes lifting people up.
Wow, that's fantastic. Fantastic. My next question for you. You've been a pastor and a spiritual leader of a lot of famous celebrities, executive, athletes, entertainers, etc. One of the most famous being Oprah Winfrey. What is it like and how does it feel to be a spiritual leader over powerful worldly figures?
I think that to me, with whoever I life coach, whether it's one of my friends' kids or somebody that works, just any type of job, is that I, number one, see myself as a servant. So I get a chance to work with famous people, and that's been since my 20s. Then that's a privilege, but it's also a privilege to work with all the other types I work with. Mm-hmm. So I think everybody is looking to stay on their path, and I have become quite good at helping people have a plan and stay on their path, and that's one reason I've stayed so busy over all these years.
Now, when you're dealing with these worldly figures, there's a lot of stuff out there as far as spirits and all that stuff. Do you ever say, okay, I can't work with this person because this person is, on this type of level, or they're kind of being in this type of spirit? Or do you say, no, you know what, I'm gonna try to, consult with them or lead them because this is something that God wants me to do? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that there's two sides of it. I think that there's guys like Robert Schuller, mm-hmm. who back in the 70s, he was a guy that was able to do what we call the Christian side and the quote unquote secular world. And then later you had people like John Maxwell, Les Brown, mm-hmm. and now you have a Tim Storey, and T.D. Jakes can do it as well. But I think that, I'm spiritually based, I'm Christian based, and a lot of people that I life coach are not Christian based. They have no religion, or some might be anti-religion, mm-hmm. but I love working with those types. I think that's what I become very well known for, is that I get to a group of people that most people can't even get in the neighborhood. So I like to do that. And part of it is not always what we say, mm-hmm. it's who we are. So I've been able, by the grace of God, to have a lot of influence into the world in all these different countries over all these years by just walking in what I call the Jesus style.
Wow, amazing. I know we were talking before we started recording, and you said that you've done over 100 conferences with Dr. Miles Monroe. What is that
Yeah.
experience like? Because Monroe is I never got to meet him. A crazy story. That the year he died, I was actually supposed to go to his Monroe Global Conference that he has. I think
Yeah.
his kids or his heirs put it on right now. But I got the news that he died in a plane crash, him and his wife and a few other people. And so I was kind of heartbroken because I was going to meet him for the first time and all that. And I have all his books, and I've read all of his books. What was it like to work with Dr. Miles Monroe?
I think Miles Monroe was the best at the subject of purpose.
Yeah.
And he had a saying that said, life without a purpose is just an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And so Miles Monroe is such a phenomenal teacher and breaking down biblical principles that we could actually live by. So that's why he was loved all over the world. Dr. Monroe and I go back. We first started working together in the 80s, so that's how far back we go. But he is in heaven, as you say, but just phenomenal. But for those that have never watched him, watch him on YouTube, Dr. Miles Monroe. He's teaching on purpose and on the kingdom. He cannot be beat. He was a Michael Jordan of what he did.
Yes, I would definitely put him on that legendary status. I still look at his videos till today, even when it's something I'm like,
Me too.
yeah, I'm like, well, okay, I'm going through this right now. What can I put on it? I'll just type in on YouTube Dr. Miles Monroe purpose or whatever the case may be, right? And I would get a word from him because he really broke down the Bible to its lowest common denominator to where a 3-year-old can understand. I love how he breaks down the word.
One of the greatest of all times,
Yeah.
because I think in today's world you have a lot of inspirational guys, but Miles, as you noted, was a great teacher. He could break down a principle and make it to where you can definitely comprehend.
Absolutely. So now the Congressional family, how was that founded? I know you're a pastor, but what made you want to start a church? Because having a church and being a pastor of a church, or being pastor for another church is kind of two different things. But what made you want to found the Congressional family? Where'd that come from?
It's two different things.
Yeah.
So what happened is I spent my life traveling, kind of like Les Brown or John Maxwell, where we would get invitations and we would travel the world. And so I love that. But about 8 years ago, I started noticing that there's a lot of people that follow me that don't traditionally go to church. So I wanted to start a church that was what I call a hybrid. Part of it would be online, part of it would be in person. So my goal was never to have a mega church, but more of a studio church. So our church is probably about 350 members that are part of the actual church that come. But then we have about 2,500 people that watch online every week, but from all over the world. So I think it's a very unusual church. And we reach out to people that are very difficult to get, from anywhere from our top entertainers to government officials to the biggest models in the world to just people that were mad at God. So the niche that we have works. So I'm the founding leader, but we have a set pastor. His name is Pastor Stefan Unias, and he does a phenomenal job. But we work as a team, and we're having a good time doing it and a lot of success. I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely. Are you guys looking to expand on? I know you say you have the hybrid, but are you looking? Because I go to a mega church, like I told you earlier, Water of Life in Fontana, California, with Pastor Dan Carroll. Are you guys looking to expand on the hybrid as far as? I know you're online, but do you want to have more other churches around the globe, and is that kind of the vision where you want to go past 2023?
Not for me. No, I think that. As you know, we have quite a big following.
Yeah.
For what I do. So no, this church, we got Jensen Franklin down the street. That's my guy. We got Tory Roberts in Hollywood. That's my guy. Go down to San Diego. You got The Rock. That's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my guys are all over the place. So I'm just doing what Tim Storey is called to do. This is my assignment. I'm able to reach people that most can't get to. So that's all I'm after is my assignment. If God deems us to get bigger, then fine. But I like the way we do things. We're kind of like a boutique
There you
church,
go.
but it's working big time.
There you go. Absolutely. Um, so you are married, correct?
I am single,
Single.
but I
Okay.
was very married about 20 years ago
Okay.
to a very smart lady, and she's a college professor, and her father is quite well known, has two doctorates, and he was a person that was one of the assistants to two of our presidents. But I was married for 11 years, have two amazing children,
Okay.
and so I know what that's about, and I know what hardship of divorce is about, but I also know what the comeback's about. So it's interesting that I'm able to even help people through that experience.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you said the comeback because my next question is, you are acclaimed author of at least that I know four well-known books that I know about: The Miracle Mentality, Good Idea or God Idea, Utmost Living, and It's Time for Your Comeback. Being an author myself of a book, I know where I was at mentally when I wrote my book. What does what does each book you wrote represent where you were and when you wrote the book at the real mentality at the time? What does each book represent when you were? What mentality were you were
That's
when
a
you wrote it?
great question. Great question, and thanks for having the covers of those books.
Yes, you're welcome.
I think it's a lot like songwriting that um, if Smokey Robinson was to do an album, each song is different,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the songs are from a certain time of his life that he will take an idea for song number one, second song from a whole other feeling of his life. So, good idea, God idea is about making the right choices. Utmost living is about there's three levels of living: almost, most, and utmost.
Mm.
Don't get stuck in an almost life. Um, the comeback and beyond became a legendary.
Mm.
And then this new one is taking the world by storm, the miracle mentality. And that has really opened up even more doors for me in corporate America to talk about the miracle mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And a miracle, as you know, is something extraordinary, unusual,
Yep.
uncommon. I talk about the uncommon mindset will take you to uncommon places.
Yeah, I have the Miracle Mentality on Audible, and it's a phenomenal book. You guys definitely need to get it on Audible, Barnes and Nobles, I believe in. It's definitely Amazon. However, in which way, definitely need to get that book. Um, Next question: with all the success you've had in your life, what's Pastor Tim Story's main focus and purpose now?
Um, my main focus is just to live. Um, Jesus said, I've come to give you life and life more abundantly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's Zoe life, and that's life with a glide in your stride and a skip in your step, is what
Yeah.
I've been saying for a lot of years. And that's how I live. I live. So I get to do a lot of fancy projects, and, um, I'm working on movies and Broadway plays and cartoons, and I'm on talk shows in 79 airports around the world. I love all that, but I like living. I like going to the gym. I like walking. I like breathing. I like being nice to people. So I'm enjoying living and breathing, but also making impact on people. I have something called World Shakers Society. That's a group for men,
Okay.
and then I have World Shakers Society for women, and we have some of the top leaders in the world that are part of my group. So we're making some pretty big impact. But I I like living. Living is good.
If somebody wanted to be part of World Shakers, what would be the criteria for them to want to be a part of it?
Well, we in the World Shakers for Men, we only let 100 men in, and
Okay.
we've had 880 people try to get in, and we're at like 81 that have joined. And what it is, it's a group of men that have similar motives, that have a growth mindset. We have anywhere from CEOs of companies that are worth over 700 million to people that are just finding their way and stepping up. It's $500 a month, which is very inexpensive. And we meet 4 times a month, which is a lot of times for that price. But we give you a questionnaire, and then we will interview you, and then we'll just see if it's a fit. But we also have it for women, and that's coming up September the 7th. If this airs after that, then you missed it. If it doesn't air until later, it's September 7th, and that's going to be the first one's a free event. And man, oh man, am I interviewing powerful women. And we'll literally have hundreds or if not thousands of women on September 7th for World Shakers for Women. But if you're a man and you find this interesting, go to my Instagram and just DM me and say, Tim, we're interested, and we'll come back at you.
Okay, if somebody misses the mark because you guys are fulfilled or filled, I should say, do they go on a wait list and they're like in the row for the second time, or how do you guys do that?
Yeah, so this is 12 months at a time,
Okay.
and then we go through teaching notes, but it's powerful, man. It's guys running big companies, shaking each other up 4 times a month. But I mean, even if you're interested, just DM us, or you have my guys' contact.
Yeah.
Just tell them you're interested and tell them why. But I have to be very careful who we let in, just because you got to always have people with the right motives.
Integrity.
And
yeah.
the guys I hang out with, we want to help people because we care, and we want to do well financially because we care. And by the grace of God and hard work, it's working for us.
No, you're absolutely correct. In essence, what you're creating is a powerful inner circle of like-minded individuals, people who are financially pretty much independent or set. They're goal-oriented, and you want to make sure that people have the right people have integrity, they have good character, and have good morals. Because you can let somebody in who has big money, but their integrity is crap, and so now that's a stain on your organization. Absolutely.
That's a very good point. But the key is to serve people. And one of my guys said to me one time, Tim Storey is playing with house money. And so if you don't know that term, it's a gambling term. Like if you keep winning and now it's not your money. So to me, by the grace of God, in the past, and that's why I get to life coach so many amazing people, because I'm really not so much about what I can get. I'm about lifting people up.
Oh man, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Any grandbabies?
No.
No grandbabies as of yet?
No. My children are barely into their 30s.
Okay.
And that will probably happen down the line, but I'm too young for that. Look how young I look.
There you go. You guys, he said he don't want no grandbabies right now. Give him I'll say about what, 5 more years, maybe you'll be okay. 5, 10 more years.
Give me a little more space.
A little bit more space. Well, Pastor Tim, I'm not gonna keep you too long. I know you have things you have to do, and I really, really appreciate you coming on here and blessing my platform. I know you gave your organization as far as how people can find you with that, but how can they find you on Instagram, LinkedIn, any other places where they can actually find you and you respond? Because a lot of people will say you find me here, and then when they try to DM you, they never respond or anything. So how can people find you?
I'm shocking. Our team will at least respond.
Okay.
So Tim, Tim Storey, Storey Official. And then keep on following this podcast because you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And you are building people up and lifting people up, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. One last question for you. With all the stuff that's going on in today's times, what is your take on everything? Like, you don't have to go deep, but just like movements, agendas, all this other stuff. I mean, we are literally in Revelation right now, but what's your take on everything? Like I said, you don't have to go too deep and all that,
Yeah.
but just a surface level. What's your take on everything?
Yeah, I think we have to simplify everything.
Yeah.
And realize that there is a God. We can connect to God the Father through Jesus Christ. And that when you abide in the vine, when you abide in Christ and you do things in Christ, that greater is he that's inside of you than he that's in the world. So no matter what's going on in the world, the greater one resides inside you. And that Jesus is the author and the finisher of your faith. And he that began a good work in you will complete it until the end. So you're going to be more than okay. You are more than okay.
That's a word from Pastor Tim Storey. Pastor Tim, thank you for blessing my platform again. I thank you for your time. I'm going to let you go because I know you have things you have to do. Thank you for being on Wealth Chance Family podcast. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. What a privilege for me.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, guys. Well, that was.
I'm proud of you, man.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying and training to do what I can to bring as much value into the world as I can. You know, doing my part.
No, but listen, I do have a tight schedule, but you notice I'm right here. So
yeah,
I'm proud of you. I'm talking to you right now, and so just keep it up. And we do some events like in LA and that. Make sure you're on our email list. Tell Joseph about that, okay?
Oh, absolutely. And another thing before we go, I definitely want to get a part of your what is it called? World Changers?
World Shakers.
World Shakers. I'm sorry, World Shakers.
Believe me, you would want to be in that group.
Yes.
Believe me.
Because $500 to be a part of your group with you and with other World Shakers, $500 is, I mean, you could charge way more than that. I mean, that's peanuts.
No, we do it small on purpose, even though those guys have so much money.
Yeah.
And then all the money goes to my nonprofit.
There you go.
But can you reach out to Joseph and tell him you want to sign up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So reach out to Joseph and I'll send you all the information.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Pastor.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Proud of you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Well, that was Pastor Tim Storey. It was a short interview, but you know what? It's okay because we was able to get celebrity pastor and spiritual leader Tim Storey here on Wealth Chance Podcast. I need you guys to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment, okay? And again, thank you, Pastor Tim Storey, for being here. Thank you for blessing my platform. If you guys, need to reach him, he already gave all of his social medias, official Tim Storey, on Instagram, on Facebook, all that. So make sure you guys go and follow him. Again, I appreciate his time, appreciate his energy, and appreciate what he's doing for the kingdom of God here on heaven. So here on earth as it is in heaven. So thank you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. And again, that was Pastor Tim Storey here. I'm out. Love you. Peace.